and then they get put out of your party. That's it. But I don't really want to have to deal with that, so... Let's go to the slums. There's a couple of new enemies here in the slums. The most interesting one is the... I think it's Kagatsuchi or something like that. There are human enemies in this game like there are in the first game, but unlike the first game, you can recruit them. And when you recruit a human enemy, there are several benefits to that. The first benefit is that they do not take mag. So if you're in a situation where mag is tight, there's a few dungeons where the enemies for just some reason don't drop any. I don't know why that is the case, but if you're in a situation like that, putting a human enemy in the party as backup can be a good way to conserve mag, but also have some extra battle power. Unfortunately, humans tend to be a lot weaker than demons of comparable levels, but there are a few human enemies that are really, really good. The other benefit of having the human enemies is, you know what I forgot to do? I'm going to go back and do this now, before I forget. The other benefit of having a human enemy, a human recruited in the party, is if you use them in fusion, you can get it... Human fusion is really complicated, but basically it allows you to get super high level demons. The results are kind of randomized, and you can get super high level demons, and it breaks the level barrier. So you can get, at this point, if you get that human enemy and combine him with Kerberos, you can get a demon that's in its 40s or 50s, and you get to keep the demon. At the end of the scenario, Kerberos leaves your party. But you get to keep the demon if you fuse Kerberos. You lose out on a scene later on by doing that. I don't think it's particularly required, because any demon that you would get out of Kerberos would be exorbitantly expensive, like prohibitively so. So, I mean, you know, why? But I do want to fuse these two together. The Earthies is a pretty good support demon at this point. He's got really good HP, decent strength, and some nice support magic. And I am going to need a little bit of support because I did not get the Cat of Nine Tails. The Cat of Nine Tails basically trivializes everything for the first 25% of the game. And then if you continue to abuse the casinos and whatever, then it'll trivialize. It doesn't really trivialize anything after that, honestly, but it does make it certain sections a lot easier. Like, there's a section later on in the game where the main character's by himself. And, swords are really hard to come by in this game, okay? I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Swords are really, really hard to come by. So the majority of your weapon upgrades are gonna be guns. It's one of the reasons why I like getting the Cat of Nine Tails, because it gives you, certain enemies are immune to guns. So it gives you a good sword option for at least one of your characters. But that one point in the game, the main character's by himself. He can't use the Cat of Nine Tails. And the most dangerous enemy that he runs into there are immune to bullets. So you can play various games of chance and get swords, but like the game expects you mostly to get swords from random drops, and there's, I think, one chest in the entire game with a sword in it. Oh, two chests. You get the slicer at the very beginning, and later on you get a weapon that is very underpowered for the point with which you get it. You know what? I just realized that I didn't have to walk all the way back, because there is a Heretic Manor right there. So I made you watch me walk all the way back there for no reason. I apologize. Yeah, so anyway, this is a garage. Just like the first game, the healing areas affect your alignment. So if you go to a Messia, every time you use the Messia, you get +1 point to Law. Every time you use a Gaia, you get +1 point to Chaos. Gaias are actually really rare for the first, like, 50% of the game. Garages are the neutral option. They give you ±1 point to neutral. So if you're going for the neutral ending, basically just always use the healing spot for the ending that you're planning on going for. If you're planning on going for the Law ending, try to always use the Messias. I mean, you don't always have that option. Sometimes you're just kind of stuck using whatever is available, but yeah, if you're going for the neutral ending, knowing where a garage is really handy for just fixing your alignment after the major alignment shifts. Alright. And there is a chest in this door right here. Like I said, if you want to get the Cat of Nine Tails, it will trivialize the battles, but they're already kind of trivial. So, you know, I don't think it's particularly a big deal. Get our first incense. There are like 13 luck. Oh, hey. I find that when you're dealing with a human enemy, that using a threatening tone works the most. Often. I am Hawk. Are you that demon buster? Yeah. I like you. Sure. Nice. I wasn't planning on going out of my way to get one of those, but if they're going to fall in my lap like that, then hey, go for it. So, one of the reasons that I like going down the neutral path in these games is that by going down the other alignments, it kind of locks what demons you can and can't use. And most of the best demons are actually one alignment or the other, and you can get a wider range of demons, I guess, at the end game. So this is that Kugutsuki. And I guess before I turn in Kerberos, I'll show you like kind of what human fusion is all about. Alright, so we want to go this way. You really don't need the Cat of Nine Tails at this early stage in the game. The Scorpion Whip? I think it's the Scorpion Whip that Hiroko starts with is pretty good, actually. It gets a large amount of hits as well, and has, I mean, it has kind of low attack power, but it's no lower than the Slicer. So she's actually a better attacker at this point than Hawk is. Yay! Oh, cool, a gem. Alright, so gems in this game. They do not take up inventory space like they do in the first game. You can look at your gems by going into the status menu here and just going along, and they're listed under here. One new change that they made with gems is when you collect 9 of them, they give you stat boosts. So gems are really, really, really good to get. You can farm them, but they're really rare. And you don't have to go out of your way to get the stat boosts that they give you. I mean, it'll either happen naturally over the course of the game, or it won't happen at all. You can also take them and trade them for elementals later in the game when you get to one of the special stores. Okay, so there's a guy here. This room is empty now, but it's important later. And there's nothing in this room. We want to go in this store. Nothing in this room. This is the important room that's important later. This room over here has an NPC in it. Sorry, I got a little mixed up there. So, for my friend, one of my buddy's birthdays, I've decided to make him a Raspberry Pi emulation box. Like a Retro Pi. And what I'm doing is I have one of these little Yobo boxes. The little NES clones that I was gifted as a present. I don't know, it's almost been 2 years now. And it broke. It's basically, I used it for a little bit and then it just died, you know. They're like $20, you know. So, but I still had it. I kept it. You know, because I don't throw anything away. I'm a pack rat. And what I did was I got some stuff called, I opened it up. I took the broken NES guts out. I put them to the side because who knows. And I took the plastic shell, right? And I hot glued the flaps shut on the inside, and on the outside I filled in the space for the I took out the power button and I took out the reset button because they're shitty, and I'm gonna look into putting better buttons in another spot. But I filled it in. I filled all those holes in with a substance called milliput. And if you don't know what milliput is, it's basically like this resin concrete, and it's used by model makers and stuff. And I've got it drying right now. I'm gonna sand it down and I'm gonna paint it all. I haven't really decided. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a Legend of Zelda motif. I'm gonna paint it like the base black, and then the top like the green, the Link green, and then put Triforces on it after I sand it down and paint it. And that's what I'm gonna give my buddy for his birthday. He's my best friend. Known each other for our entire life. More than 30 years we've known each other. And I found a custom, what are they called? When you launch RetroPie, you can have a splash screen that come up, and I found a custom like video splash screen that is the intro to The Link to the Past, where it does the music and then the ching, and then the sword comes down and it just says Retro Pie, and I was like, that's cool. I'm putting that on there. So that's why I'm leaning towards the Zelda theme.